Hi, and welcome to day two. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you so much for Kathy for inviting me here to play with you guys. Today we're going to be focusing on creating your welcome sequence. So my understanding is that you created freebies yesterday. So how are we going to deliver it? And then how are we going to create an experience for your new subscribers with your welcome sequence? So my name is Haley Dale, and I am the founder of Trunk Creative, where I partner with small business owners to create content that delights them, their customers, while growing their bottom line. So let's dive in. Here's what we're going to be covering today. So we're going to start by going over the purpose of the welcome sequence, so why you want to have one in the first place. Then we'll move on to setting goals for your email sequence. I think before you undertake any content or marketing activity, it's always a great idea to start with the goals. So the end goal, the end purpose of your email sequence, so that you can keep things really focused and have something to check it against. Then we're going to go into the 3 email welcome sequence. So this is the basics. So having this in place will allow you to take your email sequence in a bunch of different directions. So once you're ready to get fancy with it, you can add on other things. But this is your basics. So this is your 3 email welcome sequence. Super simple, super easy. We'll cover that. Then we'll talk about what comes next. So what can you add to your email sequence after you have these? We're just going to quickly go over this. Even though I know you're just going to be focused on creating the basic email sequence, you'll at least have an idea or know the potential things that you can do with your email sequence down the road. Then we're going to quickly go over the 5 factors for email sequence success. So these are 5 things that you can make sure that you're doing in order to see successful results with your emails. In general, your newsletter as well as your welcome sequence. So the purpose of your welcome sequence nurtures a relationship with your subscribers. So many people have great freebies on their website. People come to their website for their blog post through Pinterest or Facebook, a social media post, anything. They subscribe and then they never hear from them again after the initial welcome email. That is no way to nurture a relationship with your subscribers. Now, the worst thing that those people do is then they turn around and they have a launch 6 months down the road, and all of a sudden they're showing up in their subscribers inbox saying, bye, 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 I have this new exciting thing, I can't wait to share it with you. And that's no way to A, create sales. It's not a good way of doing business. And B, it doesn't nurture a real relationship with your subscribers and build your community. So we want you to be building a community with your welcome sequence and just, your community in general. So your blog readers, your customers, your clients, your welcome sequence is one of the best tools to do that or start that relationship. Delivers your freebie, obviously. So how are you going to get it to them? Helps your subscriber score a win. So this goes back to the purpose of your freebie for yesterday, but what we really want to do is your freebie should provide them a win, help them do something, get them a transformation. And your welcome sequence is just a way to reinforce that win, reinforce that transformation, and help them get the most out of your freebie. And because you've scored them a win, your welcome sequence also builds trust. So in addition to scoring the win and building trust so they trust that you're able to get them results, you're also building trust because you're showing up, you're providing value. So they know that you're not just that type of person to show up 6 months down the road with something for them to buy. It establishes you as an expert. Hey, you got them a result, so you are an expert. Plus you're sharing all this great stuff. So you are the go-to expert in your field by really nailing your welcome sequence. Primes them for your paid offer. So this, when I alluded to the fact that you can go other directions with your welcome sequence, this would be the next step. So what can you do so that your welcome sequence that delivers your freebie gets them this great win? How can you start moving them towards your first paid offer or your main paid offer? Your welcome sequence can cover a lot of ground for you. So before you get started, as I mentioned, we want to establish the goals of your welcome sequence. So consider the following questions before you create your welcome sequence. Number 1, are you working up towards an offer? And if so, which one? So have it in mind. Say you're a web designer, so you're working up towards people booking you for your web design packages. What are the goals for the sequence? So think of it from your perspective. So what do you hope to get out of offering this really great welcome sequence? So maybe if you're that web designer and you have higher priced packages, you know that people aren't going to go onto your website and just click and work with you and send you money without even talking to you. So you got to think about where the point of sale happens. And so the point of sale is usually a consult call. So the goal of your sequence is to get people on a phone with you, get them on a free consultation call. If you have something a bit lower price point, like maybe it's an info product, your goal is maybe to get them to purchase that. So at least having that goal, you'll know what you're working towards. Then think about it from the flip side. So what do you want your subscribers to get out of following your sequence? So what are their goals? What transformation are they hoping to get? How will going through your welcome sequence and using your freebie get them the results that they want, or get them something that they're interested in? So as always with your freebie, with your welcome sequence, it's really helpful to think in terms of head, hands, and heart. So for every email, every value email, every freebie, you want to think head. So what do I want them to learn? You also want to think of hands. What do I want them to do? And you want to think heart. How do I want to make them feel? So basically head, what are you going to teach them? Hands, what are they going to actually implement and do with this information? Because if they're not implementing, they're not getting results. They're just learning random information, and there's enough of that out there. And then heart, how do you want to make them feel? So do you want to inspire them? Do you want to challenge them? Make sure that you're checking off each of these 3 boxes in every piece of content that you put out. So the 3 email basic welcome sequence includes 3 emails, obviously. So email number 1 is the welcome email. So this is basically the email where you're delivering your freebie. Then we have the check-in email. This is a make it or break it. This is why my clients have such great results, because we do a check-in email. So we'll go into what that is in a little bit, but it can really make you stand apart from other people in your industry. Then email number 3, the gift email. So we really want to set the tone with this email and set a tone of generosity. Then what comes next? So you can either move them into the sales funnel phase, right? So you can start alternating value and educational emails with offer emails or decoy sales emails. Or you can make an offer right away. So get on, if it's a higher priced, as we mentioned, get on a free call with me, or you can add them to your regular newsletter, or you can segment them. So there's a bunch of different things you can do, but once you have this 3 email basic welcome sequence in place, you'll be covered. You'll be ready to add on to those things. Okay. So email number 1 is the welcome email. So we want to send this immediately after they follow up. Well, as soon as they confirm their email address. You don't want to be sending it the next day or the next Monday. Have something that they get right away, so that they, there's nothing worse than waiting, especially for someone who signs up for a lot of different things. You want to be memorable. You want them to remember you. So here's what we got. So I want you to answer the prompts here. So these are the questions that you'll answer. How will you welcome them to your community? Outline your introduction or a short version of your story or your business's story. What can they expect from you as a new subscriber? And what should they do next? Any quick pointers to use the freebie or get the most out of it? So your action items to actually write this email is just to simply answer these 4 prompts above, then take that information from your answers to these questions and draft the email. Pull all of your links together. So the links to your freebie, the banner, all of the images and stuff you have in there. We'll get into that when we talk about the 5 factors. And then you want to just build it and schedule it. Easy peasy. So follow these 4 steps, answer these 4 questions, then follow those 4 steps, and your welcome email will be done. Then we have email number 2, the check-in email. So as I mentioned, this is really a key distinction in my, what I do with my clients. What we will do is we will follow up 4 to 6 hours later after they've downloaded the freebie. So people usually sometimes, we sign up for things, we have the best intentions, but we never go actually into our inbox and download these things. So how can you stay top of mind? Well, you can send a check-in email. So 4 to 6 hours later, just a simple little email saying, hey, have you had a chance to use this yet? It'll be a little push for them, a gentle nudge, and it will also keep you top of mind as well. So answer these questions. So basically just ask them if they've had a chance to use the freebie yet and provide the link again in case they haven't. Just basically reiterates all the benefits that they're going to get from actually using and implementing this freebie. Then encourage them to contact you with questions or join a group. Just basically the main rule of thumb is encourage them to engage with you. Whether you have a Facebook group, whether you just want people to hit reply, this check-in email is a great email to remind them to use it if they haven't used it yet, like I mentioned, or if they're feeling stuck when they tried to use it, here is your opportunity to get them while they're still thinking about it. So say, have you had any questions? Have you had any resistances coming up? And just encourage them, invite them, welcome them with open arms to actually engage with you and ask their questions. So your action steps for pulling together this email: answer the prompts above, or rewrite them. So ask if they've had a chance to use the freebie yet, so put those in your own words. Draft the email from your responses to the prompts above, then pull together the links in the banner, right? So same thing that we did, you probably already have them if you've done that for the welcome email. Then build it and schedule it. Okay, so email number 3 is the gift email. So send this 2 days later, but this obviously depends on the delivery of your freebie. So if you're doing a daily email course, this will come after. If it's a daily challenge, that will come after. But this is a general rule of thumb: 2 days later, after you finish delivering the freebie, deliver another gift email, because you want to set the tone, a tone of generosity, and that you are a valuable, go-to, trusted source of information for them, and then you can start kind of selling to them, right? But we really want to set that tone first. So here are some prompts. So I want you to think of the gap between your freebie and your offer. What's their next step to get them ready to purchase your offer? Is there anything that you've already created that you can leverage and use? So going back to my web designer example, maybe your freebie was to help them choose colors, right, for their website. So narrow down your colors. Everyone wants to have all the colors, right? So how do you actually narrow that down when you can't make a decision? Then your next freebie, could be something around a website planner, right? So one other step in getting them ready. And then when you offer them that free call, they'll have already at least started thinking about some of the stuff that they need to get into place in order to hire a web designer to do their website for them. Motivations. So what does your subscriber want most from your freebie? And I forgot to add this, and your business. So what are they looking for? And why is this next gift the next step in their journey towards this goal? So their motivation that we talked about before. So how is this gift that you're giving them in email number 3 the next step in their journey? So answer the prompts above, pull together the content that you're going to gift them in this email. Then I want you to go and draft that email, pull the links together. So the links to the new gift and the banner, you probably have the same one all through to create consistency, and then go and build that email and schedule it. Then finally, I want to just touch on these really briefly, but the 5 factors for email sequence success. Subject lines. So subject lines are really, really important, because if people aren't opening your emails, they're not reading it, right? So the first thing that we measure in metrics is what is your open rate, then what is your click-through rate. But in order to get a click-through, they need to actually open the email. And that all starts with A, them trusting you because you've given them great content in the past, and B, that it's interesting, that it's enticing for them to open. So A couple of options is you can resend it. You can resend emails that people haven't opened with a different email subject line. Depends on what email service provider you're using, but most of them have an option to do this. You also want to either be on two ends of the spectrum. So you want to be either really, really specific with what they're going to find inside of there, or you want to make them curious, right? So here, this is my secret to XYZ, or free gift, open for your free website planner, right? Then we want to talk about formatting. So formatting is also really important because you want to make them actually read your email. And there's a few little formatting tricks that you can use to make your email more readable. So using short paragraphs and short sentences. So no long blocks of text. No one is going to read that. That's going to be overwhelming. So our brains naturally turn off when something is too hard, right? Especially in an information age where we have a million different pings coming at us for more information and to absorb. We're at capacity, right? So make it super, super easy to digest. Use short sentences, short paragraphs, not talking about dumbing it down, just talking about making it really easy to read. Then we want to talk about formatting, using a bigger font. So have you seen those little tiny emails, right? No one can read that. So make it a bigger font, make it a legible font, and increase the spacing between the lines. So just create more space in your email to make it really easy to read. Tone. So this is a really great checkpoint. Let them get to know the real you, especially in your welcome sequence. I want you to write to one person, right? So you've probably heard this before. So even put your best friend's name on there and write her an email. Then you can take it out and take out the name and just put it to everyone, right? You want to talk, right? Like you actually speak. And this will also help you add personality and life to your writing. So don't be worried about turning anyone off. Don't go sharing your deepest, darkest secret, but at least talk and joke and do everything the way that you do it. This is going to help you stand out from other people in your industry, right? So especially if you're a service-based business, people are signing up to work with you. So they want to know the real you before they're ready to work with you. Deliverability. So this is probably one of the most important issues coming up right now with email marketing, is there are a ton of spam filters out there. So not all of the email is being delivered. So you want to make sure that they're getting it. You want to make sure that you've made people double opt in. That's going to help, especially for something like ActiveCampaign. If they've double opt in, there's a much greater chance of them actually getting your email. You want to run your emails through a spam check. So there are a ton of tools that you can go search email marketing spam check tool. And minimize the fancy formatting and the images. So keep things really simple. You want it to almost look like an email that you would receive from a friend, or, just a regular correspondence email that's directly to you, because that's another thing that will get things flagged for the spam filter if there's a ton of fancy formatting in it. Finally, measure everything. I am a content strategist, so I obviously love numbers and want everyone to love numbers as well. But measure everything, because what works for me and what I've taught you here won't necessarily work straight out of the box for you. And the only way that you're going to know is if you're measuring every little piece. So some of the numbers that you want to be measuring: your open rate for your emails, your bounce rate, your unsubscribe rate, your click-through rate, and by bounce rate, I mean how many return to senders are you getting, your unsubscribe rate, the rate that you're adding new subscribers, and just kind of look through all of those numbers. And then the conversion rate. So if you're looking at the number of traffic to your email sign up page versus the people who are actually subscribing, you can divide that number and get your conversion rate. So higher is obviously better. And that is everything around creating your email sequence. I didn't want to overwhelm you guys with information, but really wanted to give you guys some tactical, tangible next steps. And good luck with your email sequences. Thank you again, Kathy, for having me.